Hello everybody, this is Christy Whitman with the Quantum Success Show, where you can get your information and inspiration to create your desires. And as you can see, I have a friend. And this friend is Roger James Hamilton. And I was actually just introduced to Roger. I'm really excited to get to know you a little bit better, Roger, because you had I had come to know you through a mutual friend, Chris Atwood, who I just love and adore. And he introduced us and said that we have to connect, and I was really excited to learn more about you and what you're up to, because what he told me about you was just really amazing. So for the family, Roger is a futurist and social entrepreneur. He is a founder of Entrepreneur Institute and author of the Millionaire Master Plan. He is also the creator of the Genius Test, Wealth Dynamics, and Talent Dynamics profiling system used by over 250,000 people around the world. Roger is a lifelong learner, a graduate of Cambridge University and Singularity University Executive Program, a member of the Clinton Global Initiative, APEC CEO Summit, and Transformational Leadership Council. So, Roger, thank you so much for being here.
Good to be here, Christy.
That was a mouthful. Whew. So I understand you have a new book out, and I'm so excited to get my hot little hands on it, because you talk about the Millionaire Master Plan, and you know that wasn't always the case for you, right? You weren't born with a silver spoon in your mouth, right? So can you share a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, definitely. Actually, I think I mean, especially for everyone listening, everyone within your group, all around the world, we're all looking for a pathway somehow, right? And it's really interesting. We're in a world now where GPS allows us to get people right down to the meter of where we are in the world. But then there's people, and we're all looking for a new smart way where we're going and how we're getting there. And that was my story. Like my whole life. In fact, probably for those who've been in university or college, I went to university. I studied architecture. So it's almost like I went so far off my path of what I believe was destined to do, or the things that I actually were really in my flow. And I went so far off that path that I kind of went through all this unlearning before I could learn again. And so from about 19 years old, I started my first business. I had lots of failures that kind of went from one thing to another. And then probably like late 20s, I was moving to Singapore, starting all over again. And then things started to click, and had a lot to do with taking the scenic route to success, but getting to a point where you actually think, you know what, there's so much that I've learned, there must be some value in this for others as well. I was out looking for lots of mentors. I became a mentor myself as well, and that's what I do. I'm in Bali now. Fast forwarding, 20 years later, we're in Bali. We have a resort where we actually run these programs for entrepreneurs to really understand, not just entrepreneurs, but anyone who really wants to find themselves and to say, what do I really want to do in life that's going to make a difference? So we run these 30-day programs called iLabs now, and so I'm spending quite a bit of time here in Bali. And as you mentioned, I got to know Chris and Janet some time back, and we're now partnering up with some of the things that they're doing around the passion test, where, frankly, if I was to sum it up, with the passion test, which is finding your passions, between our Genius Test and finding your talents, we're all living in this world where there's so much information, where, frankly, at the end of the day, it's about getting direction. I'm constantly looking for better direction, which is not like I need all the information. It's like, here's where I'm at, here's where I'm going, who can help me to kind of give me the best advice, so I don't have to hear all of it. I can cut out the noise, tune into the radio station, and just see that one point.
Yes.
I think we're all looking for that right now. So having those assessment tools and things are really, really helpful to do that as well.
That's awesome. So can someone go on your website and do the Genius Test?
Yeah. The Genius Test is free. It's like the Passion Test. It's free. We have about 1,500 to 2,000 people every day who are coming on and taking the test at the moment. The website is like mygeniustest.com. So you can go on, you can find it. And it's really based on the principles that the likes of Aristotle and Carl Jung talked about when they looked at different archetypes. But it also goes back to Chinese philosophy. So I'm half Scottish, half Chinese, into those energies that our ancestors already use as a way to understand more about ourselves, but use that for modern day.
Awesome. Well, so tell me about your book. Tell me, like, what got you to write this book, and tell me more about your book.
Yeah, I mean, we work that's growing around the world, and the one biggest thing that I've seen, and I know you'll see the same with this, Christy, as well, is the number of people given the wrong advice to go the wrong direction.
Yes.
People who are really creative, who love starting things, told to kind of go and do things which are kind of like really analytical, or people who are introverts who are told they have to go out and network. And so what happens is we're kind of always pulled out of the thing that we love to do to go do the thing that we're not so good at. And similarly, some of us, are being told, go out there and shoot for the moon, where frankly, the best thing we could do right now is just get the kind of core principles of what we're doing to earn that $1,000 before we go for the $1 million. We're all at a different level. In the same way, when I taught my kids how to ski, we didn't start in the black run. We didn't go jumping right up to the thing that was going to kind of like cause the most injury. So
right.
The Millionaire Master Plan is my experience over the last 30 years working with entrepreneurs all around the world, all different countries, around something we call the Wealth Lighthouse, which is first of all, it's the four geniuses. We've all got one of four geniuses. And then it's 9 levels. We're all at one of 9 levels. And rather than thinking of what a lot of people talk about, like the wealth gap from like the poor to the rich, it's actually a spectrum. And the 9 levels we have is like it's a rainbow colors that go through it. So you can actually see that we're all part of the light. We're all part of the spectrum. And it's understanding where you're at. You can then know exactly what the next step is as well. So the whole book has an assessment tool in it. You go online. You can connect with other people who have the same passions as you, but different talents, so you can build the right teams. And you can also find out exactly what the next step is that you should take, so you don't end up spending all your time getting overwhelmed with the wrong information and going down the wrong path. You do exactly the right step for you right now.
That's awesome. So anybody, like wherever you are, they can take this assessment, and it's going to help someone that's just starting out to someone that's really super successful, and it'll show them like where their next step is and what they have to do.
Yeah, exactly. I'll give you an example. I was working with someone in London. Her name's Bea Benkova, and she has always been into women leadership, but she was a women's coach. And she had been getting all this advice from people to say, look, to grow your business, you should go set up a website, get the whole kind of online marketing thing going, send out email. So she was really struggling with it. When we started working together, 2 things happened. First of all, she took the Millionaire Master Plan test. It came out that she was someone we call a blaze energy, which is really extrovert. She loves people. She had all how she's going to go out and kind of like create these e-products and all the rest of it. You know what? You're someone like an Oprah Winfrey, right? You're a blaze profile. She didn't go out and do any of that online marketing stuff. She let other people do that. She just got in front of people and interviewed them and actually being in their space. And she goes, I love doing that. I'd much rather do that than doing what I'm trying to do right now. I said, right, well, there's a whole strategy to do that. Follow that strategy, get around these different people. What was really cool about a story like that was when she really got that she could do what she loved. First of all, she really lit up, which was great. The second thing is when we then said, and you've got a particular level, just like, you've got black belt levels in karate or whatever. She had a level which was yellow level. Or someone who is one person doing all things, but it's kind of like playing an instrument. She's great at playing it. But the moment she stops playing, the music stops, right? So I said, do you want to go to green level, which is performer, right? That's the difference of, one person trying to do all of it to actually having a team where everyone's doing the right thing. She goes, I totally want to do that. And I said, well, you got to unlearn everything that actually made you a great yellow level player, which is kind of independence. Like you wake up in the morning saying, what do I need to do? And she goes, what else am I meant to do if I'm not meant to do what I need to do? And I said, the difference of yellow and green is that yellow level is a person with a to-do list where they're thinking what they need to do. A green level, which is like, these are things I'm not meant to do. These are things that my team needs to do or someone else needs to do. And it all turns into a to-do schedule, which means the to-do list disappears altogether. And she goes, I would love that. Like, that's my biggest challenge. I said, exactly. So what happened was she went from a situation where she was struggling to figure out how she's going to implement all these things to one where she set her year's target, which for her was like £100,000. And as it turned out, she actually had a little program she put together where she was charging people like £5,000 to be part of an inner circle that she had. She then started phoning up friends of hers. She had actually filled the whole thing up and hit her whole year's target without even setting up a website or doing any of those things, but actually just doing what she loved to do, getting in flow, and using what she already had, which was this really great energy and spirit that people wanted to be around. So, and that's one person, one story, but the point is, different story, and we shouldn't be going to look, to follow someone else's. We should be really being authentic to ourselves. The only question is, how do you do that? And that's really what this book is about, is giving you the tools so you can kind of start where you are and then take the next step. It's personal for you.
I love it. I love it. So, Roger, can you give that one piece of advice for everybody that's watching that will really allow them to, really fulfill what they want to in life?
I would say the biggest thing, and I'm saying this because I see so many people that lose confidence or lose their dreams and their hopes of what they'd love to have on the basis that either it feels too difficult or it feels like what other people are doing, they make it look easy, but for us it's more difficult. And at the end of the day, instead of us looking on the outside, it is about looking on the inside and realizing every one of us has genius. We have something which makes us great. I mean, like when I went to school, I loved art. Terrible at French, and what happened was, I spent my whole time beating myself up for the fact that I couldn't figure out how to do languages properly. In fact, like now today, it's the creative side, it's the art side, which I kind of took for granted. That actually is where I really come alive. And every one of us has that genius, that have that one thing that really we are amazing at. And when you actually start tuning into that, and then knowing what the specific steps are, that action to traction to attraction, and that really is the 3 steps that allow us to be able to really start attracting everything we're looking for ourselves, but it really starts with the core of who we are. So start with that, get the direction, and get that clarity. That would be my one piece of advice.
You just said there are 3 steps. Can you repeat those 3 steps?
You've got action.
Okay.
So action is the core, which is like turning the ignition on. You add T and R to action, you have a new word called traction, which is like getting the gears and the steps. Then you add AT to that, and you get a word called attraction, which we will know about. Most of us don't know how to get to that attraction. Knowing it starts with the action, then it gets the traction, and then the attraction starts showing up after that. That's the power of flow, which is like where everything gets attracted to you. Just like in a river, you drop a leaf in the river, it will always go into the area of greatest flow.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Roger. I recommend that everybody gets your book. I'm so excited to read it myself. I know it's just absolutely fabulous. Like I said, if Chris Atwood recommends you, then I'm a big Chris Atwood fan, so I appreciate that so much, and I'm can't wait. So thank you so much for being on the show. And family, if you could leave us a comment, let us know what you're taking away from this episode. I would appreciate your comments. Thank you so much.
Awesome.